This podcast is brought to you by the OmniTalk Retail Podcast Network, ranked in the top 10% of all podcasts globally, and currently the only retail podcast ranked in the top 100 of all business podcasts on Apple Podcasts. The OmniTalk Retail Podcast Network is the network that we hope makes you feel a little smarter, but most importantly, a little happier each week too. And today's podcast is just one of the many great podcasts you can find from us here at OmniTalk Retail, alongside our Retail Daily Minute, which brings you a curated selection of the most important retail headlines every morning, and our signature podcast, the Retail Fast Five, that breaks down each week the top 5 headlines making waves in the world of omnichannel retailing, that comes your way every Wednesday afternoon. I'm one of your co-hosts for today's interview, Chris Walton.
And I'm Ann Mazenga.
And we are pleased to welcome Pam Simon, the Executive Vice President and Conference Chair of Manifest. Pam, welcome back to OmniTalk. It is great to see you again.
Thank you so much for having me. Good to see you both.
Pam, we are so excited to have you today. I want to start by giving the audience, for those who've never been to Manifest or who might want a reminder as to why they need to be returning to Manifest this year, tell everybody what Manifest Vegas is all about. How is it really the conference, entire end-to-end for supply chain and logistics?
Yes, Manifest is the premier global conference end-to-end supply chain event that's going to be taking February 10 to 12 at the Venetian in Las Vegas.
So I got that right. I said that. I said the whole end-to-end. Okay, perfect.
We are an ecosystem event, so attracting startups, investors, and industry leaders, including any company that is shipping, moving goods around the world. So from CPG to fresh, pharma, e-commerce, automotive, you name it, as well as 3PLs, carriers, brokers, ports. I mean, really anyone involved in the global supply chain. And it's all about innovation. So innovation is what you will see on our stages as well as our expo floor. And if you have a startup or, that are a company that's moving things around, you definitely need to be at Manifest. We are, for 2025, we are expecting 6,000 executives from 50 different countries. And we will feature more than 150 conference sessions and more than 300 exhibitors on our expo floor. So we're really excited about moving to the Venetian, and we encourage everyone to stay on property to take advantage of all of the exciting networking opportunities that happen when you're just walking around the property on your way to all of the Manifest activities.
Yeah, that's great, Pam. I was going to say, it's much bigger this year too. And you've moved you've moved it up into the Venetian too, which is a huge, massive convention hotel too at Vegas. So, all right. So our next question is, for many that come to these kind of events, right? And Ann and I go to quite a bit of them. I think we probably average about 2 or 3 a month, quite honestly. But for many people, it's all about the money, as much as, I might not want to admit that it's all about the money. And by that, I mean investors who have money to spend and startups that are competing for that cash. What is it about having both of these groups at Manifest Vegas that makes your event so unique?
Well, so first off, we invest in things that help all of our participants succeed, including our smart badges that allow people to exchange information at the click of a button, and our private networking app that's released about a month before the show. So you can start scheduling meetings and connecting with folks before you arrive. At this year's show, we had over 200 funds in attendance, and that's super early stage through your private equity, investment bank, family office, et cetera. So we'll be expecting even more of them at next year's show. And we have about 37 different investors on stage. So why is Manifest unique? It really provides a one-of-a-kind experience for investors to make the most of their time in Vegas. Like, it's a chance to connect with potential co-investors, partners, customers, all of your portfolio companies, and investors are even walking away with some GPs and LPs for their funds. So it's really unique that you're able to find funding, for your companies, for yourself, for everybody involved. And we've seen a lot, M&A is not slowing down. So we're seeing that gain a lot more momentum, and we'll feature a session on that at Manifest, where we'll dive into how companies can effectively integrate supply chains post-merger to maximize their synergies. and due diligence and supply chain operations that impact, the success of M&A transactions. So we're really covering the full gamut of ways that investors and companies of all sizes are able to connect and do business together.
Now, Pam, will you dive in a little bit more too? I mean, I can understand from the content perspective, like that they'll be able to see these startups who are just coming into the space, who are gaining traction. But how do the investors and startups kind of get one-on-one time with each other? Can you elaborate a little bit more on what's set up for them for those interactions?
Great question.
Of course. Our office hours on Tuesday afternoon provide an opportunity to have one-on-one meetings with investors that to your next round. And our innovation stage is at the heart of our expo hall, which features about 40 different disruptive companies from around the world, and will also include product launches. So I'm pretty sure if you are anywhere in the vicinity of our innovation stage, there will be investors lurking around.
That's awesome. Great to hear. Really good investment for those startup companies too. That makes sense.
Yeah, it's a great place to be if you're a startup. All right, so you've already mentioned the startups and the investors, but there, of course, is another group that's essential to moving goods around the globe, as they say. And these are the leaders that, it might be, Ann. We might be getting there.
Oh, I hope it's Maritime. Okay.
Yes, these are the shippers, Ann. So what can we expect from the shippers in attendance at Manifest this February?
We have been working hard on this one, so very excited to share that we have over 120 shippers will be on stage. So like chief supply chain officers, chief operation officers, chief procurement officers. This year, we'll actually be featuring a number of case studies from the likes of Mattel, Daily Harvest, Microsoft, Alibaba, even the government of the United States Transportation Command. So they'll dive into, how they're approaching a bevy of different technologies and topics, as well as change management, operational design, and the adoption of technology for effective decision-making. One of the big highlights is also our leadership suite, which is an exclusive program mostly for senior level and supply chain manifest. So it's came by popular demand directly from the leaders that are joining. So you'll have the opportunity to engage, network, learn from each other, and it creates these really unique peer-to-peer networks so that shippers are able to, have those important conversations with each other, as well as discuss all the different technology that they're seeing and what's working, what's not working.
Well, and Pam, I think it's important to call out, Chris and I have been to Manifest several times, but it's important to get there early because you do some really exceptional kickoff events like the Maritime Symposium, which I mentioned. But can you go into a little bit about what to expect that first day of the conference and why it's important for people to attend?
Sure. So the first day is a lot of fun on our kickoff day, and it is divided into symposiums. So our Maritime Port Symposium is obviously a favorite, and we'll feature, the Port of LA and Claris, DP World, AAPA, DCSA, APM Terminals, Maersk. And we'll be diving into, large-scale digital transformation, enabling complete traceability of container movements, and streamlining cargo handling. Our intermodal workshop will feature Linksys, Telegraph, Union Pacific, JB Hunt, Southwest Airlines. We'll dive into how cities are becoming world-class freight hubs. Air cargo transformation, and keeping goods and materials moving via strategic partnerships, tools, technologies. Sustainability is another one, which, every conversation that I have includes sustainability. So we'll be exciting to hear from Super Circle and Plant Switch and BComp to discuss scaling climate solutions, holistic sustainability, and circularity from reusable to re-commerce. Since we listened to the industry. So after a lot of feedback coming in, we'll be launching our cold chain forum at this year's show, featuring.
Oh, wow.
Yes, very excited. We have a great lineup discussing, different ways that food is moving through the supply chain and scarcity and security, as well as temperature control, navigating the pharmaceutical side of things, with Vanguard Medical and Candor Expedite, BGO. So we have a lot of stuff that's jam-packed into the first day of the show. And the expo hall is not open this day. So this is really the time to go to the sessions, connect with people, and start to plan what the rest of your experience is going to be like. Additionally, stay for the cocktail after as well.
Well, Pam, it's impressive to see how fast Manifest Vegas has grown. I want to go deeper into how shippers are making sure that they're getting the most out of their time at Manifest.
Of course. So the growth that we've seen in shippers is really, really exciting. And we're so happy to see so many shippers getting value from Manifest. I'm constantly hearing of people that are now working together and deploying new technologies. So it's very exciting. This trend really started off with Pepsi. So big thank you to them, because now they're bringing their entire executive team to the show, and it allows them to be at the event in a more efficient and productive way. So you're able to divide and conquer, going to educational sessions, going to meetings, meeting more companies on our expo floor to truly get the most out of all the different networking opportunities that we provide. So it makes sense to divide and conquer. We're seeing a lot more people bring their teams. So that's the best way to do it, is really like prepare ahead of time and then attack the scene. And we also have many shippers taking advantage of our hosted shipper program, which gives benefits to both individuals and teams. They have access to things like our shipper lounge and meeting rooms for larger teams. And we look forward to seeing even more and more shippers at the show the coming year.
So Pam, I'm curious, because you mentioned it. Is that the best way to attack the show, is to come in with a plan? Because we talk to a lot of, especially the retail side of things, the retail executives that attend all these conferences. And honestly, we hear different approaches. Like some people like to just keep it tabula rasa, keep their agenda completely free and open and just wander around. Some people like to be incredibly planful. But you're saying people should plan their day, right? That's what you think? That's the way to get the most out of it?
Well, the way to really get the most out of it is bring your team, right? There's only one of you. I wish... Yeah. When you figure out how to clone me, let me know. But until that's solved, really, it's to bring your team. That way you don't miss anything. So, I mean, or divide and conquer. Like really, that's the point of bringing a team. And then before you get to the show, you can determine, who's going to be taking meetings, who's going to go to the educational sessions, who's going to go to the floor. And it really helps, everyone spread out and then come together following the show to really be able to debrief in the most productive, efficient way.
Yeah, the divide and conquer approach is a great one too, because like the other thing I think about having been to these shows when I was working for a retailer too, is it allows you to see different perspectives on the new innovations and technologies that are on display at the show too. So before we let you go, I want to ask you more about that. So I think there's going to be a ton of startups in attendance. You touched on it a little bit earlier, but can you dig deeper into the kind of companies, particularly that you're going to hear from on the innovation stage, for which, you'd want those diverse perspectives to weigh in on it if you're in attendance?
We have about 40 companies from around the world of all different shapes and sizes that are going to be represented. And we'll have there will be presentations diving into combating fraud and cybersecurity, to payments, nearshoring, rail, automation, sustainability, as well as companies that are tackling workflow automation, enterprise, safety, real-time tracking and IoT, as well as autonomous shipping with Mythos. I think that company is pretty exciting. So see a number of companies that will be doing product launches. So I don't know if you realize this, but a lot of news gets broken on stage at Manifest. So products launched and new announcements. So it's important to listen to what's happening.
Yeah, we got to catch as much of it as we can. Pam, I want to close with one thing that I know is very near and dear to you and to me, especially in this industry, and that is promoting diversity and getting new fresh blood into the transportation and logistics side of the business. And one event that you're hosting that I want to make sure that our listeners know about is the Women's Lunch. This year is the 4th installment. Can you tell our listeners a little bit about where and when they can catch that?
Okay, so this will be taking place lunchtime on Wednesday, February 12th. Okay. So we have not announced the speaker for our Women's Lunch just yet. So stay tuned on that one. But we do have a brand new initiative that I'm super excited about that we'll be launching at the show. And it will be focused around mentorship. So we've had a lot of C-suite executives and attendees mention that they would be open to mentoring people and wanted to give the opportunities to find mentees. So we're creating this program. So as part of the RSVP for the women's luncheon, we'll be asking folks, to indicate if they would like to be a mentor or a mentee. And we'll spend some time at the end of the women's luncheon with my colleague, Katie Date, talking on stage about mentorship and how to be a great mentor and how, as a mentee, you can get the most out of your relationship. So, studies have shown that those who have strong mentorship in their life are able to navigate and grow within their careers in a more impactful way. So I'm really excited that Manifest will be able to use technology to help create these matches. So the mini workshop run by Katie will focus on how to seek mentorship, mentee, how to make the relationship most valuable for both parties, as well as the importance of having your own personal board of advisors. So attendees will walk away with valuable tools to help them support their mentor in any way.
All right, Pam. So I think we've asked you every question that Ann and I can think of in regards to the conference. Is there anything we haven't asked you about or anything you want to leave our listeners with here about Manifest Vegas before we let you go?
Well, if you have not registered yet, prices increase in January and on site. So please take advantage of our deal and register now. Go to manifestvegas.com. And if you /OmniTalk, you can save $2 on your registration.
Nice. Yes. That's right. Yes. You can save with us. So if you're listening to this podcast and you're like, hey, Manifest sounds amazing, just go register at manifestvegas.com/OmniTalk and get it done. And we'll see you there. Ann and I are going to be there. We've been there. I think this is our 4th year being there, right, Ann? Is that right?
So.
Pam's like shaking her head? Yes,
right.
yes.
That sounds right.
I think we met. Yeah, when it was originally at Paris back in the day. So Paris, the hotel, not France, but
not yet.
Maybe one day,
not
Pam.
Yet.
Maybe one day.
Yes.
All right, Pam. Well, thank you so much. That wraps us up. Pam Simon of Manifest. Thanks for sitting down with us today, and thanks to all of you for listening to this podcast. Or if you're watching us on video, thanks for tuning in. And as always, on behalf of all of us at OmniTalk Retail, be careful out there.